Hi, I'm Scotty. Welcome to my channel, Scotty's Clock World. Thanks for dropping by. I thought I'd show you a different way of setting up the Tvyek paper this time. I normally just cut a rectangle like so and wrap it around the bellows and then trim the edges off with a sharp blade once the glue has dried. However, this time I'm going to do it differently and show you how to do that. I'll just straighten up this edge along there with a sharp blade. Recheck the height of our bellows, 35, then mark off 35 up here again, which is right there, then 35 on the other side, which is there. Now I'll straighten that side also, so that'll give us something to work with. Run down there with a sharp knife and that's done. Right, now first thing we have to do once again is find the center of our piece of Tvyek paper, which is there. And I'm going to use a fountain pen this time to do the mark out, because it doesn't bleed in through the Tvyek paper. And using a lead pencil on it, it's very hard to see. We'll smudge that a bit, but you'll see there's no mark on the other side of the ink. Right, so we now position that line in the center across there, 17.5 centimeters either side. I'll put another tiny little bit of Tvyek paper on that in a moment. It's a little bit loose. Alright, so we'll set this up and get our halfway point. Which is there. I'll mark that with my pen there and there. And then run a line across there. Still smudges, alright, well, nothing we can do about that. We need to be able to see what we're doing and have a decent line on it. Actually, I'll try my gel pen again, but it didn't work before and I don't know why I'd expect it to work now. Very, very pale, but I suppose I can do 3 or 4 strokes on it. And it won't blur as easily as the fountain pen ink does. Right, now we'll fold our Tvyek paper in half long ways and then open it up and put our rule, get it even, right along that mark, and then we'll run over it heaps of times with a gel pen. Alright, fair enough, it takes a bit of doing. Now we're going to need another measurement, and that measurement is the distance between the bottom of the bellows and the top of the bellows. So we'll measure that, and that's 9 mils. So we'll go to the nearest, we'll call that 10 mils. So we'll mark out 5 mils either side. I'll come down a little bit closer on that. So we'll mark out 5 mils on either side there, and the same down the other end. 5 mils either way. Pick up our 5 mil line, which is there. So we've got that, and then we've got that. Alright, so the next step is coming to our 2 outside lines where the bellows is going to sit like so, and then drawing a line from that outside point down to the 5 mil mark we've just made. So I'll run across that a few times, and over on the other side the same thing. Our 5 mil mark up to the top there. This Tvyek paper doesn't like writing implements of any type. Seriously not looking any good. Right, once again we've got 4 of these to do, so that one, then the last one, our 5 mil mark, and then up to there. Alright, so that is what our paper looks like now. So now we're going to cut that. Now we're going to shape our paper. Put our ruler on the line, first one we just drew, and cut it through with a sharp knife. Now the other end, get that aligned and cut it. Turn the Tvyek round and align the next line, cut it through, and then the last one. That'll make it a bit easier for people who don't like trimming off the loose ends once you've stuck the paper down. Alright, there's our Tvyek paper, ready to go onto the bellows. So we'll turn it over. We can see that the bellows, when opened, one jaw fits there, the other jaw fits there. That's the centre. Alright, there's our bellows that we're going to use. So actually I'll cut a little bit of that topping off there so that we've got a little bit more timber for the glue to stick to. Alright, so what we do now, open the jaws a little bit and we put a line of glue down each of these faces here on the jaws. Not putting too much because we don't want to stick the jaws together. Okay, now we align the jaws on the paper where our line is and push down on it. Lift it up, and then we can see that we've got the Tvyek paper right down at the bottom there. That's sticking all right, and up at the top. Careful, this glue on my gloves is deadly stuck. Alright, next step, we run some glue up along that side and that side there. And the glue's getting a little bit thick actually. And then with the bellows open, we lay the Tvyek paper down and push it into place. There'll be a tiny bit to cut off there, but not very much. Now we'll do the same on the other side, but before I do, I'll put a little nick in here so that we can fit that around. Alright, that's got it. Once again, glue on both sides, on each edge, and across there. and then roll the Tvyek paper over. Pull it smooth and then tap it down on both sides. Now, we want a little bit of our Tvyek paper to come across the back here, but we don't want that full piece. So I'll cut about half that out. Then on the other side, the same, cut half that out. And now we put glue on the back here. This is getting a bit thick. With the last time I used this lot, I'll have to get another tube. Then layer it down. And I'll take a tiny little cut off there before I do. Alright. And then lay that down. And that'll catch all the way around. Right, last thing we do, we've got to put a fold into the bellows so that they close properly. And I'll use a steel rule for that. I'll push both sides in, like so, and then across the front, using the round end, not the square end, because we don't want to tear anything. We'll push that in so that it folds down like that. Right, I'm going to put a rubber band over that for the moment, just to hold it tight so it gets the shape in it, only for a couple of minutes. Put it over the top of that might be the go to start. Wind it round. And there it is. Alright, we'll let that sit for a minute. The gloves are all stuck together. Well, that'll be the end of that Tarzan's grip. I'll get a new tube of that, or I'll use something or other else next time, because that's gone solid and lumpy. Alright. Thank you to my supporters: Don Dressel, David Phillips, Graham FP, Robert Hornman, Mike Messerschmidt, Stephen Watts, Sidus, Rolf, Tony Paisley, Jeff Clements, Whitney Kovner, Walt Morgan, Dennis O'Connor, Robert Baldwin, Douglas Mueller, John, Martin Olivia, Douglas Rollinson, Bill Leeds, Getzip, Brooks Rowand, Jim Scarladorn, Rodney Van Meter and Elizabeth Smith.